Can you tell me what is time study? Or what are the tools for work measurement? Samiha,
Yes, sir.
can you tell me what are the tools of work measurement?
Sir, method study, motion study, and time study.
Time study is one of them. So what is time study?
So it is used to measure how long a product, how long it took to build a product.
So ultimately, the calculation of a standard time, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
To calculate the standard time, what are the issues you must consider? Number one, how many times you will observe the work, isn't it? And now we know how many times we will observe the job. That means if there are three components of the job, cutting, sewing, and finishing, if you want to know what is the standard time, what is the standard time to cut a product, cutting time. To know the standard time, what you have to do? First, you have to, what you have to do?
Define the task.
Define the task. Task is that, define the task, yes, this is true. Define the task. Our task is already defined. We want to know what is the standard time of cutting. It is my task. What is my task? We want to know what
Number
is
of
the
observations.
standard time for cutting. Now, what is the second time? Second job step.
Determine the number of observations.
Number of observations. So we know how to determine the number of observations, and we have already determined how to do it. How to do it? How to determine the number of observations? To determine the number of observations, you will take some observations in advance. What you will do? Say for an example, you wanna know what is the standard time of cutting a garments. What is the standard time for cutting a garments? It is the requirement. Now, what you will do, you will go to our operator and then you will tell them, please do this job, and you will record it. First time it takes 5 minutes. 5 minutes for cutting a shirt, cutting a garments, cutting a dress. 5 minutes. Second time it takes 5 minutes. Third time it takes 6 minutes. Fourth time you are calculating the time it takes, say for example, 4 minutes. So these are the primary observations you have taken from the actual job. That means how many minutes will it take to finish a garments cutting. Then you can, using these 5 observations, you can determine what is the average time. What is the average time? That means sum of the five observations, 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 6 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes. Then you will divide these 5 observations by 5. Then you will get the average time. And then you can say that it is the average time to complete a garments cutting. Are you getting? So you can also calculate the standard deviation. What is the standard deviation? So standard deviation calculation means that your average is, say for example, 5.5. And what is the deviations of the other observations? Some one observation was 6, one was 5, one was 4. So there are some deviations. These deviations is known as standard deviation, you know, and there is a separate formula to calculate standard deviation. Summation over xi minus x bar divided by whole square divided by n root over. It is the standard deviation calculation. That means you will standardize what are the errors. Standard deviations means errors. What are the errors? And after getting the standard error, then you will calculate ultimately how many times the jobs need to be repeated to know the standard time, not the average time. This time we will calculate standard time. And to calculate the standard time, how to calculate standard time? Standard time is calculated by using several steps. We are going to discuss those steps. We are going to discuss those steps. Before that, the 5 observations you have taken is not the final observations you will take. Now you will know how many observations you will take from the system to know the standard time of cutting a garments. Cutting a garments. So how many times you will take? You will use n, a new number of observations. How many times you will take? We are going to calculate. Here, the formula is z is divided by ax bar. All right? Can you remember?
Yes,
Z,
sir.
Z means your level of confidence. If you are confident, 90% confident, it is 1.65. If you are what else? If you are 90 5.5% confident, the Z value will be 2, and S means standard error, that you have taken 5 observations and there is a standard error. This error you will use here, and then A means your expectation, expected deviations or expected error in average, expected error in average. Maybe you are expecting that the average standard error, standard time will be 10, will have 10% error. Then A is that 10% of the average and 10% of the average. And when you will multiply, take the square of the calculation, then you will get that how many times you will ultimately observe. Say for example, the answer will be 50. That means you have to observe the job of the same worker 50 times. So we know it and we have already calculated it. Is that it? Is it all right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now we are moving to next discussion. Next discussion is that today we will know about the standard time calculation. Average time and standard time is not same. We will today know how to calculate the standard time. Development of a time standard or a standard time involves computation of 3 times. You have to calculate 3 different times. Number 1 is observed time. Number 2 is normal time. And number 3, finally, you will get standard time, or this is also known as standard minute value, because usually how long does it take to finish a job? We say that 50 minutes. But if it is, you know, gigantic, huge job, then you can use standard hour value, SHV. That is also possible. Usually in our practice, we use standard minute value. We calculate the minute value. How many minutes does it take to produce a part? How many minutes does it take to produce a whole product? It is standard time or standard minute value. So come to the calculation of observed time. Observed time is just the average. Average, you know that from our previous lecture, you know that how many times you will take the observation. Say for example, 50 times. So you will divide the sum of the 50 times by n. Say for example, first time 5 minutes, second time 6 minutes, third time 7 minutes, fourth time 4 minutes, fifth time. So 50. You will add 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1. So all 50. You will add and divide by that 50. What you will get? Observed time. Observed time. So observed time means sum of recorded times. How many times you have recorded all the sum, and divided by number of observations. If a job element doesn't occur, its cycle, its average time should be determined separately, and that amount should be included in the observed time. So this comment is not effective at this moment for you, because sometimes you cannot measure from time to time, where you will apply the another technique. Forget about it for the moment. What is observed time? What is observed time? Maybe Siddiq, Mr. Siddiq, are you here with me?
Yes, sir.
So what is observed time? Give me an example. First, give me what is n. Please tell me what is n.
Number of observations.
So number of observations, how will get the number of observations? How you will get the number of observations, or how you will know that how many times you will observe the job to know the standard time? How will you know that? Can you tell me? Nusrat Jahan Diba. Nusrat Jahan Diba, are you with me? No, maybe sleeping. Mr. Anas? Mr. Anas, can you hear me?
Sir.
So, what is observed time? OT, observed time. What is it?
Sir, measuring the time needed to perform a specific task.
So, Mr. Tawhidul Islam? Mr. Tawhidul Islam, are you here?
Yes, sir.
So, what is observed time? Can you tell me what is observed time? Nafisa Anjum,
Yes, sir.
what is observed time?
The average of recorded times.
Average of recorded time. Good. So, how many times you will take from the worker or the people who are gonna measuring? How many times you will take, and how will determine the n?
Sir,
Can you tell me how to determine n? Can you?
Sir, no.
So who can tell me? Galib, Mr. Galib? So Mr. Galib, can you tell me how many times you will observe the job? How you will determine it? How? Can you?
No, sir.
Are you sleeping? Or still in sleeping mode?
No, sir. No, sir. Not sleeping.
So you don't know how to calculate n. Who can tell me? Samia.
So there's a formula we learned the last class
So
to calculate the number of.
that means at least you should say that we need to apply a formula.
Yes, sir.
You cannot take observations without any justification. There is a justification. How many times you will take to know the observed time? And the formula is Z is divided by AX bar. Can you remember?
Yes, sir.
S means standard deviation. That means you need to know simple standard deviation and average, and your level of confidence and your expectation expectation of error. আপনি কোন একটা জিনিস করলে মনে করেন না যে আপনার কত পার্সেন্ট এরর হতে পারে? মনে করেন কিনা? আইডিয়া আছে নাকি কোনো? নাকি নেই? You must have an idea. Yeah, আমার 10%. I'm expecting the error will be around 10%. Is it?
Yes, sir.
This A is that your expectation. A, here is A. Can you see n equals Z is divided by AX bar? A is your expectation. Then the average will have 10% error. And Z means your confidence. I am doing the number of observations will be perfect. And my level of confidence is 90%, 95%, 80%. Usually it is above 90%. Otherwise, it's very difficult to quantify, get the result. And S and standard deviation is S is standard deviation, X bar is average. This is how you can calculate the number of n. And after getting the number of n, then you will repeat the job. The sum of X means repetition of the jobs. Sum of X means repetition of the jobs. Maybe first time, second time, third time. If the n is 20 times, you will sum 20 figures, and then you will get the observed time. Is it clear what is observed time? Then, after getting the observed time, be careful, please listen to me. After getting the observed time, you will calculate the normal time. The normal time is the observed time adjusted for work performance. So the worker you have chosen, you know what is his performance. If I choose a student from the classroom, your class, I know that his performance is A graded, B graded, or C graded. Because during my discussion, I asked different questions, your reply and your attendance, your performance. There are several indicators. Based on those indicators, I can rate your performance that you are A graded performer, B graded performer, C graded, or 90% good performer, 70% good performer, or 80% performer. So the person who ultimately observe the time, they have the information about the performance rating of the particular employee or particular desk. The normal time is the observed time adjusted for work performance. If the worker, you are taking repeated time 50 times, so you know that that guy is 90% performer. His performance rating is 90%. So when you will multiply observed time by the performance rating, then you will get the normal time. Are you getting what is normal time? Normal time means average of your job multiplied by your performance rating. If your performance rating is 90%, multiply by 90%. If your performance rating 110 means that your performance is better than average, or your performance is better than expectation. So performance rating may be more than 100%. If the performance is above the average, if the performance, your performance is exceptional, outstanding. So after getting the normal time, the third option you are going to calculate standard time. The ultimate objective is that the objective of the chapter, work measurement, is to know the standard time. And why standard time is so important, we are going to discuss, or we are going to explain why standard time is so important. So the normal time doesn't take into account such factors as personal delays, work fatigue, getting a drink of water, or going to the restroom. Unavoidable delays or machine adjustments, repairs, talking to a supervisor, waiting for materials, or breaks down. The standard time for a job is the normal time multiplied by an allowance factor for this delays. The standard time is normal time multiplied by allowance factor. Allowance factor, what is allowance factor? Maybe you have got the idea. Allowance factor means that there are some delays. The workers going to washroom. The materials are not coming. Sometimes it happens. The machine needs maintenance. Machine has broken down. These are the factors that is known as the allowance factor. Allowance factor may be 10% of the total time. 10% of the total time. So 10% of the total time, what does it mean? It means that the allowance factor is 0.10, or allowance is 0.10, and allowance factor is 1.10, because you will consider normal time 1 and additional 10%. Are you getting? Samia?
Yes, sir.
So 10% allowance. What does it mean? It means normal time, say for example 10 minutes plus 10% of normal time. That means 10 multiplied by 10%. Is it? 10 multiplied by 10% equals what? What is it? 10 multiplied by 10 equals 1, is it? So
Yes, sir.
time will be 1%. Or you can apply this formula. This formula, in that case, you cannot apply plus. What you have to do? 10 multiplied by 110%. 1.10. 10% means the allowance factor. This time I am calculating allowance factor. 10% means 1.10. Is it? The answer will be 11. Answer will be, so you can use plus. In that case, you have to calculate 10% of normal time, or you can calculate the allowance factor. Allowance factor means 10% means 1.10, 20% means 1.20, 30% means 1.30. Allowance factor. So either you can use plus or you can use multiplication. Here it uses multiplication. So if you use multiplication, it means that the allowance factor, if the allowance is 10%, 10% time the workers are going to washroom, the materials are delayed, the machine is broken down. So that 10% will be added with the standard time. Then what you will get? You will get the normal time. Are you with me? This is how you can calculate the standard time. Why standard time is important now? Standard time is important to know the cost of manufacturing. Standard time is important to know the cost of manufacturing. If you go to the HR department, they can tell you what is the average cost per minute of your company. So if you know the average cost per minute, say for example, the average cost per minute is $1 of a company. And if it requires to produce a product for 5 minutes, what will be the making cost of that product? 5 minutes means standard time. Standard time to produce a product is 5 minutes. If the standard time to produce a product is 5 minutes, then what is the cost of making that product? Can you tell me? Are you not getting? Okay, I'm coming. So please look at this example. A time study of a assembly operation yielded the following observed time for one element of a job, not the whole job, one element of a job, for which the analyst gave a performance rating. The performance rating is very good. That means above average or above expectation or exceptional. Using an allowance factor 20%. Determine the standard time for this operation. What is the standard time? So here the n is 9. 9 times you have to observe to know the observed time. And what is observed time? Observed time means sum of the time. Sum of the 9 trials are 10.35. 10.35. 10.35 is divided by 9. And the observed time is 1.15. What is the observed time? 1.15. And what is the normal time? The adjustment of the worker's performance. Because the performance may be much better than average of that guy. In that case, what you will do? You will apply performance rating more than 1. More than 1, and it is 1.15 is your observed time multiplied by performance rating. This is multiplication, not the equal. What is it? It is observed time multiplied by performance rating. Performance rating is given here 1.13, and your normal time is 1.30 minutes, and standard time is normal time multiplied by the allowance factor. Allowance is here 20%, so allowance factor is 1.20 or 1 plus allowance. And what is the standard time? 1.56 minutes. 1.56 minutes is the standard time. So maybe you are clear how to calculate standard time. the objective of the chapter is to study the time or stopwatch time study. And the objective of the chapter is to know the standard time. To know the standard time, what you have to do, you have to choose the job first. Say for example, here the job is assembly operation. What is the job? Assembly operation. So we are going to know the time for assembly operation of a part. A time study of an assembly operation yielded the following object time for one element of the job, for which the one element only, for which the analyst gave a performance rating 113, 1.13, using an allowance factor of 20%, not the allowance factor. Allowance is 20%. Determine the appropriate standard time for this operation. And here, job time, there is another system is job time or week time. Which one we'll use? But for the moment, we are using only job time. And after getting the point, then you are calculating the standard time. Observed time means average time. Normal time means you will adjust the average with the performance rating. This is also multiplication. And then standard time, you will calculate the standard time by multiplying the allowance factor. Allowance factor means your added time you need. And here the observed time, standard time is 1.56 minutes. Observed time of 1.56 minutes means that if the per minute cost of the factory is $1, if the per minute cost of the factory, per minute cost of the factory is $1, then the making cost of this product or making cost for this element will be $1.56. Are you getting why $1.56? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
So what is standard time? You can tell me. What is standard time? Can anybody tell me what is standard time? Because this chapter is introduced to know what is the standard time. And we will apply standard time in our calculation. So can you solve it? I think this will be everybody must show the solution. Like the schoolboys. Solve it. Everybody solve it. The time study analyst, times and assembly operation for 30 cycles. Then computed the average time per cycle, 18.75. The analyst signed a performance rating 96% and decided that an appropriate allowance was 50%. Determine the following. Number one, observed time. Number two, normal time. And number three is standard time. So can you calculate what is the observed time? What is the observed time? Who can tell me? So read few minutes and then tell me. Mr. Miladun. You will tell me what is the observed time, Miladun.
এভারেজ টাইম ইনটু স্যার মানে কতগুলা করা হয়েছে ওগুলা না?
Observed time means the average time. You're right.
ইয়েস স্যার,
Total sum divided by number of observations.
ইয়েস স্যার।
So what
তাহলে
is
স্যার
the observed time here?
18.75
Minutes.
মানে ইয়েস ইনটু 30
So why into 30?
স্যার, কারণ 30 বার করা হয়েছে দ্যাটস ওয়াই 30 টাইমস মানে অপারেশন করা হয়েছে দ্যাটস ওয়াই।
Sir, yes, that is true. But why you will multiply? Divided by 30. You can say divided by 30 seconds. To know the average.
Yes.
So there are 30 students in your class. How many students?
30 স্যার।
And total sum of the age of the students 18.75. So how will calculate the observed time or observed age?
ইয়েস স্যার, ভাগ করা হবে। ইয়েস
Divide.
ইয়েস স্যার।
But fortunately, the computed average is given. Average time per cycle is 18.75 minutes. That means observed time is given here. Isn't it the average?
ইয়েস স্যার।
So what is observed time? Observed time means the average, sum of x divided by n. So sum of x divided by n is given here. Average time is given here. So average time is, observed time is 18.75. Are you all right, everybody?
ইয়েস স্যার।
Tasnova? Tasnova, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
So what is the observed time here? What's the observed time here? Tasnova, what's the observed time here?
Sir, 18.75.
18.75, because it is the average. It is not the sum of the 30 times. So as it is the average, it is the observed time. So who can tell me what is the normal time here? Normal time. Yes. Notion, yes, please. What's the normal time here? Notion, please, turn on your mic. What is the normal time? How to calculate normal time? Normal time means observed time will be multiplied by the performance rating. Performance rating. What is the performance rating here?
0.96.
96% or 0.96. So normal time will be, what will be the normal time? Observed time multiplied by the performance rating. So 18.75 multiplied by the 96% or 0.96. What will be the normal time? Do you have calculator or mobile phone?
18.
18.75 multiplied by 0.96 equals 18, right? So normal time is 18. And what is the standard time? What's the standard time? Normal time multiplied by the
Allowance factor.
factor. So here appropriate allowance is 15%. So if the allowance is 15%, what is the allowance factor?
1.15.
Or 1.15. So multiply by the 1.15. What is the standard time?
20.7.
20.7. So the standard time to produce a product or a part of operation is 20.7 minutes. Now we are gonna apply this 20.7% or the standard time in our operations department. Now we want to know what is the efficiency of the employees or the employee for which we have calculated the standard time. To calculate the employee efficiency, the example may make it clear. Let a production factory runs for 10 hours every day. The product has standard time 20 minutes. So what is the standard time are you getting? Standard time is not coming in vacuum. There are several steps. After that, you have calculated standard time. Is it 20 minutes? If an employee produces 20 units in a day, 20 units, one of the employees has produced 20 minutes, 20 units. What is the efficiency of the employee for that particular day? How can you calculate? What is the efficiency? Output, standard output, is it? Actual output divided by standard output is the. So his actual output is 20 units. What is the 20? Is it? Actual output is 20 units. But how can we use it for calculating the efficiency? Because units, you have to convert this units into time. Because the input, the available input is in time. As the input is in time, so you have to convert these units into time to know the employee efficiency. So 20 units and average time to complete 20 units is 20 multiplied by 25, because to produce 1 unit, it requires 25 minutes. So output is 20 multiplied by the standard time 25 minutes. That means 20 multiplied by 25 minutes is the time equivalent to 20 units. Are you getting the point? So your output is 20. So to produce 20 units, how many minutes does it take? The standard time is 25 minutes. So it takes 20 units multiplied by 25 equals 20 multiplied by 25 equals 500 minutes. Your output is equivalent to 500 minutes divided by your input. Your input is you work for 10 hours. How many hours you work for there? 10 hours. So it is in hours, but your output is in minutes. Isn't it? 20 multiplied by 25 minutes. So you will convert hours into minutes. So to convert hours into minutes, what you will do? 10 hours multiplied by 60 minutes. Isn't it? 10 hours multiplied by 60 minutes. So 600. Output is 500 and input is 600. 600. So what is the answer? What is the efficiency rate? Can you calculate?
0.83.
So efficiency rate is 83%. Does it mean?
Yes, sir.
Efficiency of the employees is 83%. So one of the uses of Standard time is clear. To know the employee efficiency, we can calculate, we can use standard time. Number one application. So the solution is given 20 units multiplied by 25 minutes equals 500 minutes divided by 10 hours multiplied by 60 minutes. 60 minutes is 1 hour equals, just we are converting hours into minutes, and our efficiency rate of the employee is 83.3%. Now, application of standard time. Application of standard time to calculate cost of making. Standard time multiplied by cost per minute. And every factory, every company has their own cost per minute, because cost per minute is not only cost of making. There are a lot of expenses related. Managing director is also involved. So what is the cost per minute of the company? What is the cost per minute of the factory? You need to know. And these calculations usually are done by the human resource department. It is one of the HR metrics. HR metrics. They have the information, because ultimately which department pay the salary and benefits of the employees? Can you tell me which department pay the salary and benefits? Mr. Josh Shah. Mr. Josh, are you here? So you are not number one attentive. Number two, you are just joining the classroom for your attendance. That's the problem of online classes, lectures. And I don't find Mr. Josh, but in attendance system he is present today. Mr. Jubair Siddiq.
Yes, sir.
So, which department pay the salary and benefits to the employees? Which department?
Sorry, sir.
Which department in a company pay the salary and benefits to the employees? Which department pay the salary and benefits to the employees? Which department? Which department of a company pay the salary and benefits to the
HR.
employees? HR department. Good. The answer is correct. Answer is correct. Sometimes students confuse with the issue that the accounts department pay the salary and benefits. Ultimately, accounts department only keeps record of the events, economic events. So HR department has this information, cost per minute. What is the cost per minute of a company? HR department has the information. Also, accounts department has, because they record the data. So you will collect cost per minute from the HR department, and then you will multiply it by the standard time. Then you will know what is the cost of making a product. Let a production factory runs for 10 hours every day. The product has standard time 20 minutes. The cost per minute is $2. What is the cost of making a product? Can you tell me? What is the cost of making a product? How to calculate cost of making? To produce a product, say for example, to produce a garments, it requires 5 minutes. It requires 5 minutes. And cost per minute is $5. So what is the cost of making of a garments? Standard time is 5 minutes and cost per minute is $5. 5 multiplied by 5, $25 is the cost of making of the product. Are you not getting the point? Are you getting? So let a factory runs for 10 hours every day and cost product has 25 minutes standard time. If the cost per minute is $22, what is the cost of making a product? What is the cost of making a product? It requires 25 minutes, so 25 multiplied by cost per minute is $2. $2. So what is the cost of making a product? Here, can you tell me? Anybody? Mr. Standard time is 25 minutes and cost per minute is $2. So what is the cost of making a product?
$50.
$50. $50 only. So we are now learning the applications of standard time. First, we have calculated number of observations n. Then we have calculated observed time. Sum of observations divided by n is the observed time. Then we calculated the normal time. Normal time means observed time will be multiplied by the performance rating of the employee. Normal time. Then we have calculated standard time. Standard time is normal time will be multiplied by the allowance factor. And the standard time indicates that to produce a product, it is the standard time. So when you will deal with the customer, when you will deal with the owners of the company, then you will say that to produce a shirt or a product, it requires such minutes, 20 minutes. Why this standard time is important and you're thinking that you are just learning? No, it's not learning. There is a direct applications of calculating a standard time in factories. Every factory have their own standard time and there is a separate wing for time study, for method study. 3 studies we have discussed here in the classroom. One is method study, number 2 is motion study, and number 3 is time study. The industrial engineering wing of the operations department deals with these issues. This is also known as the industrial engineering. Jobs of the industrial engineering wing of the operations department or production department. So after getting the observed time, you can calculate the employee performance. What you can do? You can calculate employee efficiency. You are producing 20 units and you'll convert it into your standard time. 20 units multiplied by the standard time, 25 minutes, and you will divide by the time you spend to produce that 20 units, and you spend 10 hours. So 10 hours or if our denominator is minutes, then you have to convert 10 hours into minutes. 10 hours multiplied by 60 minutes. So your divisor and the what do you say is both the parts of the division must be in same units, otherwise you cannot explain it. You cannot explain employee efficiency. So we can use standard time to calculate employee efficiency. We can use standard time to calculate cost of making a product. There are a lot of applications of standard time. We're just showing you. And standard minute value. What is standard minute value? Standard minute value and standard time is same. Because here, if you check standard time in 25 minutes, that means standard minute value. Standard time is expressed in minutes. So standard time and standard minute value is same. Assembly is defined as the time which is allowed to perform a job satisfactorily. Normally, it is expressed in minute value. Assembly time is broadly used in garments manufacturing industry. This is wrong term because as I am professor of garments university, textile university, that's I am using the word garments. It is used in all manufacturing industries all over the world. Pharmaceuticals, they're using. Unilever, they're using SMB or standard time. And SMB, we calculate standard time equals basic time. Basic time, can you remember? It is normal time. Normal time plus. Here we use the word plus, not the multiplication. 10%, say for example, 10% means basic 10% of basic time. You can use the summation or you can use allowance factor. If the allowance is 10%, so 10% of basic time. So if you use multiplication, then basic time multiplied by 1.10 or 10% of basic time, same thing. It will be 1 or multiplication will be 11. And how to calculate basic time? Basic time and standard time, normal time is same. And it is observed time multiplied by the performance rating. And performance rating, what is it? Every employee has the performance rating. I have the performance rating of all my students. And observed time means your total cycle time divided by number of cycle. And we say sum of x divided by n. Sum of x divided by n. And this type of rating usually used by the operations manager. And there are a lot of ways of calculating the observed rating. However, it is based on several factors. Several factors means, for example, how workaholic you are, how serious you are in your job. In my classroom also, I can say who can answer the questions and who cannot answer. And allowance means your extra time, personal time, machine time, and other bundle allowance, other allowances. Allowance in minutes, usually percentage. 10% means 10% of the basic time. These are the summary of the discussions in different languages. Say for example, observed time, we have said it is the, what is the observed time? How to calculate observed time? Sum of x divided by n. Here it says total cycle time. Total cycle time, isn't it sum of x and number of cycles? What is number of cycles? N. And there are some more applications. There are some more applications of standard time. You can check it, and if you have any problem, then we can discuss again. All right. So for example, how to calculate line capacity. How to calculate line capacity, number of machines in line multiplied by shifting hour and converting into minutes. If you have 10 machines, 10 multiplied by, if shift hour is 10 minutes, meaning working hour, 10 hours, and multiplied by 60. That means you are converting hour into minutes and how many machines you have. And then subtract the absence rate, average absence rate. You also get the absence rate from the HR department. Average, on average, how many people are absent in office per day? If it is 10%, you will deduct 10% and you will multiply by line efficiency. Line efficiency means as like every worker, every production floor can be rated. What is the rating of this floor? What is the rating of, if there is an assembly line, production line, what is the rating of the line? And I have 3 sections. I am teaching 3 sections here at NSU. I can say which section is better. Which section has more efficiency than your section? Similarly, this is line efficiency. There are different lines, so which line has what percentage of efficiency? And divided by the assembly, then you will get the, what is the line capacity? What is the capacity of a line, production line, assembly line? Suppose a garments factory, Avanti Fashions, a sewing line is running for producing full sleeve shirt, and it is full assembly is 25 minutes with 30 machines at 8 hours. So number of machines, there are 30 machines, and the shifting hour is 8 hours. Where sewing lines efficiency is 60%. Usually in our country, the average production efficiency is 60%, 70%. But in China, it is above 90%. And worker absent percentage is 5%. What is the line capacity? How many pieces a production line can produce? And you know that to produce 1 unit, there are 25 minutes. So 20 divided by 25. And number of machines is 30 machines. 30 machines runs for 8 hours. 8 hours and hours are converting into minutes. Minus 5%. Minus 5%, that means out of this amount. 14,400 multiplied by 5% is 720. And the efficiency, production line efficiency is 60%. You will multiply it by 60%. 60% and divide by the assembly. Or assembly means what? Standard time. And our production line can produce 380, 28 outputs. So if a production line can produce 328 outputs, how many units a garments factory can produce, which has 10 production line? 10 into 328, 3,280 units a garments unit can produce. If the factory has 10 production line, assembly line, same thing. If there are 20 assembly lines in Walton, how many refrigerators the company can produce in a day of 8 hours? Multiplied by number of assembly lines. This is how you can calculate the line capacity. You can also calculate the factory capacity. In that case, how many machines? Number of line, number of machines. So you will add how many lines Walton has and how many machines Walton has and what is the office hour of Walton, and you will convert it into minutes and you will multiply it by the assembly. Then you can calculate the factory capacity. The factory in a day can produce 2,280 units. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So are you getting the point what we are discussing? We are discussing. So if we sum up, today we have discussed about the work measurement, time study. We have calculated standard time, and standard time we calculate standard time using normal time and using observed time. Observed time is calculated by total sum of the observed time divided by number of observations, n. It is the observed time. And to get the normal time, you will multiply the performance rating of the employee by the observed time. Observed time multiplied by the performance rating. You will get the normal time. After getting the normal time, you will also consider the other allowances of the factory. Allowance means breakdowns, break time, etc. If it is 10%, allowance factor will be 1.10. If it is 20%, allowance factor will be 1.20. So you will multiply allowance factor by the normal time. You will get the standard time. And why standard time is important? Standard time is important to calculate the workers' efficiency. What is the efficiency of the workers? Output divided by input, productivity, in other words. So you will calculate the efficiency using standard time. You can calculate the factory capacity. You can calculate the production line capacity using standard time. Standard time and standard minute value is equivalent here in our lecture. So you
Sir.
can- yes.
Sir, I have just missed my first midterm. I told you before. Sir,
Yes, but we are waiting for the physical, classes. In the coming week, maybe we are arranging midterm for you and also for the other students. Still, our office will be closed until 2nd of May.
yes, sir.
Our exam date is 4th May. So if extended to 4th May, then we will think for the alternatives. All right.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Thank you for today.
Thank you, sir.